Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me. I love when I'm not the only one here. I love when it's not just me yammering on about a topic because I get to turn the spotlight on to people that are members in our group and that have been doing spectacular things. So I have two very special guests today that I will be introducing in just a moment. One of the reasons why I'm having two guests on is I want them to share the experiences that they have had in a relatively new program that I have going on in as a kind of as an offshoot of the Breakthrough Emotional Eating group on Facebook. And that group is absolutely completely free. And if you aren't a member and you're listening on the podcast, you want to come over and join us, www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough. And you want to come and be a part of that group. Everything in that group is absolutely free. But I also do offer additional coaching for those people who are interested in that. Some people are interested, some people are not. Totally cool with that. Don't have an issue either way. I always want to provide what people need. Some people don't need don't need any additional help, or they don't feel like that's important for them, and that's so okay. And I'm so good with that. But there are others who just want to hang out with me. No, I'm just kidding. That is not it. But it's really just there is a level of depth that we're able to do in a coaching program. So I think it's really important. It's important to me to be able to offer that. And one of the things that we'll talk about is that it is important for me as a coach to feel like if I'm going to ask people to dig into some pretty personal things, that it needs to be a smaller group, because I need to be responsible as a coach to be able to connect with people. And if I'm going to stir stuff up in their lives, I better be there to help them work through it. And so the smaller group size really does help with that, because really, emotional eating, as we know, it's not about the food. It's about much deeper stuff. It's about things that are going on in your life, and things that have gone on in your life in the past. And so it's important for that to be something that we can address and deal with. So that is where we are headed today. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into things. So I would like to introduce Robin and Missy, and both of them are currently members of the Breakthrough membership, which is a membership group that I have in as an offshoot of the Breakthrough Emotional Eating group. And in order to come into that membership, you need to have worked with me in another kind of another setting. So in the case of Missy did Missy, you did some. No, actually, you were one of the first people who came into the membership. Now I don't bring people straight into the membership. You actually came right in the membership, and then Robin came through working with me working with the group in the 21-day jumpstart. So I'm sorry, y'all. My dog is eating a piece of paper right now, and he's really making a lot of noise. I don't know why. Why do dogs do this? Why do they decide to do this when you're trying to record something and then he decides that he's going to be a bad dog? So I'm just going to ignore that. So like a child with bad behavior, I'm going to ignore it for right now, but he will pay for it. Anyway, just a window into my life, y'all. Okay. So I'm going to start, Missy, I'm going to start with you. So if you wouldn't mind telling everyone where you're from and a little bit of background about how you and I came to work together.
Well, I live in McMinnville, Tennessee, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours between Nashville and Chattanooga and Knoxville, just depending on which direction you go. I've been an emotional eater and a habitual dieter all of my life. Let's try this, let's try that. And getting into my 30s and 40s, nothing was working. I would lose some weight and then it would come back. It might take a little longer, but it would come back. And finally one day, okay, I've had enough of all these diets and stuff, but I have got to try again. And honestly, I just got on Facebook and I think I tried the internet and, just started typing in emotional eating. Does anybody do anything with that? Oh my word, there's
Mhm.
got to be something out there. And I came across your group.
Mhm.
Well, I was like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. And I also thought it was neat that you actually, sent a message and said hi and that kind of
Mhm.
thing too. I was like, wow, she really does care. So I started, listening to your podcasts, and I read your book, and worked through the book, and did the exercises and things. And well, and everything I learned, it was like, okay, this process works.
Mhm.
This is working for me where nothing else has in many, many years.
Mhm.
And so, I wasn't tracking it or anything. It was just, I could feel the difference in my body. I could tell, when your clothes fit a little bit different or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm like, this stuff works. So when you came up with the membership, I was like, I've got to do this. There's no
Mhm.
way I can't do this. I have to do this.
Right.
And so I did.
And so
And
you were actually doing things like I always recommend to people to do it on your own in the group, in the free group. I remember seeing your name because you were active. You would post, you would comment. So I always knew who you were. But a lot of times people don't necessarily tell me whether or not they're actually doing things. I didn't know how long had you been in the group before you ended up joining the membership?
I think I have paid the daily planners
Mhm.
going back to like the last of February or
Okay.
you know, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay. So before you joined the membership group, how much weight did you lost?
Um, Probably about 5 pounds.
Okay.
You know,
But you
just
had,
doing it.
but that felt really good. You realized like, oh, this might actually work.
I wasn't like totally dedicated then. It was
Hmm.
just, I really, okay, it works, and I'm like, can I keep this up? Still a lot of doubt, it
Yeah.
comes up here. Like, can it really work? And, I mean,
Hmm.
what about long term and that kind of thing? And
Right. Right.
it was hard to do, but I
Yeah.
mean, I was like, okay, so this works. I thought, I've got to try it. I've got to dedicate myself to it and try it. And
Yeah. Good. All right. Cool. And so then you joined the membership in April. I think it was
yes.
the beginning of April. Okay. Cool. All right. We will get back to you, Robin. What about you? How did you come across this? How did you find the group and tell everybody where you're from, but where did you find how did you find the group and then how did you and I connect?
Hi, I'm from Monroe, New Jersey, which is central New Jersey, halfway between the Jersey Shore and Atlantic City. So I'm in the center of the state,
Mhm.
and it's really a beautiful state. Lots of farmland, lots of greenery. Not that most people know that. So they think of The Sopranos and the stacks of smoke billowing up. But
Jersey Shore, that's what I think of.
yeah, yeah. I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I've
Mhm.
been on countless diets. I lost over 60 pounds on Weight Watchers in 2017, but it then like stopped working and I couldn't keep it off. And I started slowly gaining it back. And
Mhm.
I gained back more than half. And it really caused me to panic because it wasn't working and I didn't know what to do anymore.
Mhm.
So I also, looked on Facebook and found Kristen and found that group, and you started reaching out to me.
Mhm.
And quite honestly, I was really scared to commit. I
Mhm.
was scared to commit because I always knew that my weight problems were really connected to my emotions
Mhm.
and feelings and things like that. And it was very scary for me to think that I'm going to have to face that
Mhm.
and work through those emotions. So it took me a while to decide,
Mhm.
but because my weight was so much more than my weight, the impact. was that I felt like I was different from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt that I was destined to struggle my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so tired of that struggle. And really, Kristen, I truly believe that you continue to reach out to me. I really think it saved my life because it changed it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when you came up with the 21 Jumpstart, I said, okay. I took a deep breath and I said, I think I could do anything for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I committed to
Mhm.
giving it a try, and
Mm-hmm.
it just changed my life in so many ways, even unrelated to weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed how I think about myself, how I feel about myself, how I want to care more about myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been transformational.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's awesome. We can just end the interview right now. No. No, thank you so much for saying that, Robin. But it is important to know that Robin and I had lots of and what Robin's referencing is I send out, when I record a podcast, I send it out and all of you receive. If you're on my mailing list, you receive a podcast, and usually there's a question, there's a write up, and Robin would consistently respond to those emails that would go out. And so I would see her response and then I'd respond back, and we had a couple of good dialogues back and forth. We spoke on the phone, but you were not ready. And you just, I remember we talked and you were like, I'm not really sure. And I think it was another maybe month and a half, couple more emails. She sent me a couple more responses. We had more dialogue. So for those of you who are listening, and if you're listening and you're in the group, it's your time. It's when it's your time and it's on your timing. When it's right. When it's the good time for you. And so it's trust yourself, but also, as Robin said, even if you're scared, a lot of times if you're scared, that's telling you that you have something you need to deal with, because nobody wants to live in fear, but it's hiding from it. And as we learn, and as people learn who work with me, it's the distracting and the trying to avoid the emotions doesn't make the emotion go away. In fact, it just makes it bigger and it makes it more powerful. And so facing up. And so, Robin, I totally commend you for, even though the fear, you did it anyway. You were feeling fearful, but you knew that this was the next step you needed to take.
Well, Kristen, part of the reason why I was able to overcome my fear was because in our conversations, you said things that I knew were true.
Mm-hmm.
So your words rang true to my inner core. And I immediately felt a connection and a certain amount of trust, which is a very difficult thing for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I trusted you because
Mm-hmm.
I believed your words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was the tipping point to get over that fear.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's really sweet. We've never talked about that. So thank you for saying that. That's really nice. And I'm glad you felt that way. And I would hope that anybody that works with me and has spent any amount of time with me, and would know the kind of person that I am, and how I do genuinely, I do care. I care about everybody. I care about everybody who's struggled with this, because I because of how much I struggled, and I just have that connection with people, because I know how you all have felt. I know I've been there, and I lived that way for so long, that I want people to know that, like, I'm in the trenches with you. I know how all those feelings come about. So thank you for saying that. So Missy, back to you. So you had been in the membership, cruising along, doing your thing. Y'all, I have to tell you, Missy is a hoot. She is so stinking funny. And so we have our coaching calls, and she's awesome. She tells funny stories. She's amazing. So you were doing a great job. what motivated you? Because I offered it to everybody in the membership if they wanted to come over and do the jumpstart. So what were you hoping to get out of it by kind of doing this little bit of something that was a little bit different than what we were doing?
Well, after I learned by repetition,
Mhm.
and it had been a good while since I started with those early podcasts, learning how to. And, we do really deep work in the membership. So
Mhm.
it's like, I'm really far away from that now. I wanted to get back to the basics, I guess,
Mhm.
and refresh my memory, make sure I know what I'm learning and why
Mhm.
I'm learning it.
Mhm.
Mm.
And so going in, um, what it did, how did the, was it, tell me about the experience. Cause I know a lot of the, all the material that I created for the jumpstart, most of it is brand new. Most of it is things that I re-recorded. I've done, did some new handouts and things like that. So what, what sparked, I mean, I know you've had success. So if you don't mind sharing with everyone the success that you had in the 21 days, because you had come in, when you came in, how much weight had you lost when you started the jump start?
When I started the jump start,
Mm-hmm.
it's about 20 pounds.
Okay. And so you had some great success already. And so what, but I'm just I'm gonna let you brag. How did the jump start go for you?
I dropped 8 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And you also had an experience that most people do not have during our 21 days. If you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone what the I don't want to say incident, but what the
Yeah.
circumstances were for you that made it so, I mean, really, it made it so valuable.
Well, I actually had a 3-day vacation, right? Kind of just a little over halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the Smokies. And I took my paperwork with me, my planner and things. I can't find those now. I don't know what I did with them, but I know they're somewhere because I had the stuff. I posted them. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
but I would fill it out every day and I would plan what I wanted to eat. I
Hmm.
made sure it was something good because I was on vacation and I didn't want to waste good food, by my desserts or or whatever on just something little. I wanted something good, something you don't get every day. So I did that and I it ended up that when I got back, I weighed the morning after, we got back and I had lost 2.5 pounds while on
Yeah,
vacation. So
exactly. Yeah, that was amazing when you came back and you let us know that. And if I remember, weren't you connecting with another person were you having some dialogue with somebody else in the group who was keeping you on
yes,
your marks?
Janelle and Julie were both. I said, y'all have got to message me. And so I got a message from Julie and she said, "Hey, Missy, what you eating?" And I said, "Oh, let me tell you what I had," and I just what I'd been eating.
But you did. You were able to eat whatever you wanted. You were at an amusement park, wasn't it? Was it a water
It was
park or?
it was a water park.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so I didn't eat at the water park. That's you're gonna get in the water. Who wants to do that? But when we went out to dinner or out to lunch or whatever,
Mhm.
when we got there and had a lot of fun in the evenings, and that's when I got the good stuff.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, were you traveling with other people as well?
Oh yeah, it was my husband and my stepson and daughter-in-law.
So it
So
wasn't, and you didn't have to, it wasn't like, okay, we've got to go to certain places. It was like you were just able to look at wherever you wanted to go and decide what you wanted to eat and then just use the tools and strategies that you had been taught.
exactly. We went to a frozen custard place, and that was where my dessert came from. It was a it was a frozen custard brownie cookie, and it
Ooh.
was awesome.
that was a great surprise when you came back with that. And I was really that, and that really, I think it showed a lot of people that this way of eating. And again, I never want to say this way of dieting because it's not dieting, but this way of just eating and living your life, it can, actually absolutely can work. And Robin, I know you had a couple of times away. I think you were away as well during your time. So if you want to share with us, I would love to hear from your standpoint, having never done anything like this, not having really done this type of work before, starting the 21 days. What, tell us a little bit about your experience, and then what happened for you when you went away as well.
Well, I went away for a week, but I was in a timeshare where I had a kitchen
Mm-hmm.
refrigerator. So I stocked the refrigerator with things that I knew I wanted to eat for breakfast and for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and went out for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I also took all my paperwork, and I think that made such a big difference because I committed in the morning to what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that reminded me to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time on vacation, I didn't have to worry about where we went for dinner because it didn't matter.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know you had posted in the group just about initially having a little bit of anxiety of worrying about like how the vacation was going to go. I remember you reaching out to people and everybody just saying like, it's okay, you know what to do. And you did it.
Right, because I'm kind of the person who likes to stay within the lines. So I was so committed to the 21-day program
Mhm.
that I didn't want to do anything that would, jeopardize my success.
Mhm. Mhm.
So reaching out, I found Janelle to be such a good source of inspiration and feedback. And it just made all the difference in the world. And I
Mhm.
also lost weight when I came back, which is probably a first
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
a vacation.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask, I'm going to let both of you ladies share. And so subsequently, we finished the 21 days. Missy, you're already a member of the membership. So you kind of go, you kind of meld yourself back into the membership. Robin, you decided to join the membership after your 21 days. What was for you? What was the reasoning behind why you chose to continue with investing in yourself, doing the monthly membership? What was your thought process when it came down to that?
Well, when I joined the 21-day program, I was anxious about it. I was
Hmm.
scared and I was anxious. And I guess before you do something that you don't know what it's like, you can have anxiety about it.
Hmm.
But once you step your foot into that water, that anxiety went away.
Hmm.
And it was such a positive experience for me that it wasn't really a question of where I was going to go next. I
Hmm.
wasn't willing to go back to my old ways. I needed to continue, and I knew that I couldn't do it alone. I needed the support because the
Hmm.
support of the group is tremendous.
Hmm.
There are women all across the country who I've met and who have just helped me so much understand myself and my journey
Hmm.
that it was not even a question. I said, I'm going to find the money and I'm going to invest the time. I'll do without something else because I'm worth it.
Hmm.
So
Amen, sister.
that's how I jumped in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Missy, for you, what can you talk a little bit about like what the community is like? Because I mean, I tell people and I try to explain it, and I feel like coming from me, because because I'm the person running it. So it's like, I feel like it's like, oh, she's just blowing smoke. It's like but I know how special it is, but I feel like it's kind of like it just doesn't mean the same when I say it. So and I know you're such an integral part of both communities, of the breakthrough membership community and the breakthrough emotional eating community. You're so active in both. You're so inspiring, you're so uplifting, and you help so many people with your words and your encouragement. So for you, what can you describe to people, what's the community like?
The community, oh my goodness. I never experienced anything like that anywhere.
Mhm.
I mean, even in face-to-face groups, that you would, you know, club type deals where you would go and talk about, your weight and your weight loss and all that. No, it's not like that at all.
Mhm.
This, you are supported, you are loved. Um, you learn from each other. Um, you can have those really deep discussions, and you don't have to be afraid to tell somebody you know what's happened in your life that you think may be causing something
Mhm.
or has caused things to happen.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, and we have a lot of fun too. There's a lot of laughter, but I mean, we sometimes we do get serious about things, but
Mhm.
and we want to be there for each other.
Mhm.
If somebody's going through something with family, or something with parents, or anything like that. I mean, we will listen to each other, and
Mhm.
we will try to help. And we've found out that there's a lot of us that have experienced the same things, and that
Mhm.
are going through the same things at the same time. It's just
Mhm.
amazing,
Mhm.
and it's very unique.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Very-
I definitely think that there is a very genuine, a very genuine caring that each one of us has. And I think it's because, again, we have this shared experience of regardless of what it looks like, or what it took to get us here. It's like we're all committed not only to ourselves, but committed to each other. And so we know that there's that strength in numbers, and that strength in that, knowing that there's somebody nearby that you can lock arms with. And both of you have mentioned Janelle, and Janelle is as a huge integral part of the group. And she's incredibly supportive, incredibly uplifting in the breakthrough group. But we have so many women who are just so just inspiring, and there for people. And it's not like it's just not like, I agree, it's not like anything I've ever experienced myself. And I'm the first person to admit it. And I admit this also when I because I do coach other coaches who have Facebook groups. And one of the things that I talk about all the time, and I tell the people I coach, I used to I didn't want to have a Facebook group. Like, I held out my business coach wanted me for a year and a half to have a Facebook group. And I was like, no, I'm just not, it's not, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a positive experience. I was so resistant to it, but that was my own issues. It was my own thoughts about what it would be like to share with people, because I wasn't ready to share what was going on with me. And so when I finally got to a position where I was then comfortable enough, and then opening up the group and having the group, and it was still hard, but it wasn't until I started doing the group coaching, because I used to always do just one-on-one. And once I started doing the group coaching, I did my first round of group coaching, and the results were so, like, the results for people were so inspiring and so positive. And what I saw my clients getting out of it was like their results were exponentially better than when they were by themselves. And so to me, it was like, it just became a no-brainer. I do still do individual coaching in addition to the group, but I will never just do individual coaching anymore, because I think the group dynamic is so incredibly powerful. But I know that it was my own hang up about it. And now I'm just like, I am all about the groups. I'm all about women working together, and just having that support with each other is really amazing. So I'm going to give each of you just an opportunity to just like final, kind of a final thought, final, um, you know, thing you want to share about, again, about your experience, not just in the 21 day, but then also within the membership. I'd love to just have you just share whatever's on your heart you want to share. So Missy, I'll ask you first.
The biggest thing for me, I believe, has been that I have learned to love myself. After all of these years and all of the negative thoughts and the negative things I have said to myself and hearing negative things from other people, I finally learned how to love myself.
Mhm.
And I don't talk that way to myself anymore. And it's a wonderful feeling when you get rid of that, you have so much more confidence,
Mhm.
and you can learn to do that. It
Right.
is possible.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Robin, what about you?
Well, I agree too, because I have worked very hard to get those negative words out of my brain, and it's been so impactful. Um, I know that I am in charge of myself. I am responsible for my outcomes. I don't have to have any more secrets about what I eat. I don't feel any more than I'm different than everybody else. And I think a big part of it is that for me, the group is such a safe place. And I've just found the freedom from worrying about how am I going to trust my body to do what it's supposed to do.
Mhm.
Freedom is just, can't even describe it. It's
Yeah.
made me into a different person.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's wonderful. And you're just starting your journey. So it's super exciting to me. It's like, oh my goodness. And it's amazing to just see the progress the progression that people are going through and the things that they're discovering. And Robin, I think you said it, you said it yourself. And we talk about this all the time because, and we say this in the big group all the time. It's like, it's not about the food, but it really isn't. Robin, you said it's not about your weight, it's about so many other things. And it's not just, you're not just addressing your weight, you're addressing your whole life. And so it's really about just it's a much deeper and a much more complex thing. And that just to know that you have again a safe place where you can figure that out is I just I am so blessed to have just the people that I get to work with. I just feel so blessed that they've found me, and that they've allowed me to be able to just step in and have the role that I've had. But to me, it's more about the community and the relationships that you all have. That's where the real work comes, and that's where the real growth comes from too. So thank you both for coming on and being here and inspiring. I'm so grateful for both of you, as I'm grateful for everyone in the membership and those people who participate in the 21 day, and everyone in the group in general, anybody who's here, who's accessing and using the information. Thank you for doing that, because that, you know, again, Missy said it so well. She looked and she was like, there's got to be someone who's dealing with this. And that's why I did it, because I didn't have that. There wasn't anybody dealing with this. I didn't even know what my issue was. And so to finally be able to do that and be able to, to be able to even remotely help people is I feel really blessed that I've been able to do that. So thank you, ladies, for being here and for being a part of my life as well. I grow more every day that I have contact with all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being my coach.
Well, thank you for letting me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. This is like, I'm just going to float off now. My head is going to be just like, I'm just going to, I won't be able to get my head through the door because it's going to be too big, but we are going to sign off. I am going to, for those people who are live in the group, we haven't popped over and chatted with you. So if anybody has any questions for Missy and Robin, I'm gonna pop over in the group and I'll be able to retrieve questions for them, so we can answer any questions if anybody has any. And so yeah, that's what we'll end it here. So thank you all for listening on the podcast. Again, not a member of Breakthrough Emotional Eating, please come, please be a part of it. www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough, and we will see you there. All right. Everyone, have a great rest of your day, evening, whenever you're listening to this, and we will see you next week for another podcast. All right. Take care, y'all.